Financial stability is not a luxury. It is not something reserved for high earners or lucky people. It is something millions of hardworking Americans spend their entire adult lives chasing and never quite reaching. And the reason is not what most people think. It is not the economy. It is not bad luck. It is a cycle. A specific, invisible, repeating cycle that most people are living inside of right now without ever recognizing it for what it is. And until you see it clearly, you cannot break it. Let me show you what financial instability actually looks like from the inside. Not the dramatic version, the quiet version, the version that looks completely normal from the outside. You get paid, you cover your expenses, you handle what needs handling. And then something happens. A car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance, an unexpected expense that did not appear on any budget. And suddenly the fragile financial balance you carefully maintained collapses. You dip into whatever small savings existed, or you reach for a credit card, or you borrow, and then you spend the next 2 or 3 months slowly rebuilding, getting back to zero, back to the fragile balance, until the next unexpected expense arrives, and the cycle repeats. This is not a story about one unlucky month. This is the financial reality of the majority of American households, and here is the part that makes it genuinely dangerous. Most people accept this cycle as normal. They do not see it as a system failure, they see it as life. But here is what is actually happening beneath the surface. Every time an unexpected expense destroys the balance, it does not just drain money. It drains something more important: financial confidence. Because every time you rebuild and get knocked back, the invisible belief grows deeper. The belief that stability is simply not available to someone like you, that no matter how hard you try, something will always come along and take it away. And that belief, that quiet financial hopelessness, is one of the most destructive forces in personal finance. Because it changes behavior. It makes people less likely to build emergency funds, because why build something that will just get spent? It makes people less likely to invest, because what is the point of investing $50 when a car repair can cost $1,000? It makes people more likely to spend emotionally, because if the future feels unstable anyway, enjoying the present feels rational. Financial hopelessness does not look like giving up. It looks like making perfectly logical decisions inside a broken system. And this is where most people quietly lose control financially. Because without a financial buffer, without a genuine emergency fund between you and life, every unexpected expense becomes a crisis. And crisis spending is the most expensive kind of spending that exists. When you are in crisis, you do not shop for the best price. You pay whatever the situation demands. When you are in crisis, you do not consider long-term financial impact. You solve the immediate problem by any means available. And every crisis solved with debt makes the next crisis slightly more likely, because the debt payment reduces available cash flow, which reduces the ability to build a buffer, which makes the next unexpected expense a crisis again. This is the cycle. Quiet, repeating, completely invisible unless you are specifically looking for it, and most people are too financially exhausted to look. So, what do financially stable people actually do differently? Not wealthy people. Financially stable people, the ones who sleep at night without financial anxiety. 3 things separate them. First, they treat an emergency fund as non-negotiable infrastructure, not a savings goal. Infrastructure. The same way a house needs a roof, a financial life needs a buffer. Even $1,000 between you and a crisis changes the psychology of every financial decision you make. Not because $1,000 solves every problem, because it means the next unexpected expense is an inconvenience instead of a catastrophe. And inconveniences do not require crisis spending. Second, they build financial systems instead of relying on financial willpower. Willpower runs out. Systems do not. Automatic transfers, fixed saving percentages, pre-committed spending limits. Not because they have perfect discipline, because they built structures that make the right financial behavior happen automatically before emotion or exhaustion can interfere. Third, they changed how they define financial progress. Most people define progress as having more money at the end of the month. Financially stable people define progress as having a system that works regardless of what the balance looks like today. Progress is the buffer growing by $50. Progress is the automatic transfer happening consistently. Progress is not being knocked into crisis by the next unexpected expense. These are not dramatic financial transformations. They are quiet, structural changes, applied consistently, over time. Financial stability is not built in a single month of perfect decisions. It is built in dozens of ordinary months where the system holds, where the buffer absorbs the unexpected, where the automatic behavior protects the long-term plan from the short-term chaos of life. Most people never reach financial stability not because they are incapable, but because nobody ever showed them what the cycle looked like from the inside. Now you have seen it. And the moment you see the cycle clearly, you can begin building the system that breaks it. Not overnight, not dramatically, but permanently. If this video explained something you have felt but never been able to name, subscribe right now. Every single week I bring you honest financial education that addresses the real reasons people stay financially stuck, not the oversimplified advice, the actual psychology. And drop a comment right now. Tell me honestly, have you experienced this cycle? The rebuild, the knockback, the rebuild again. Because you are not alone in it, and recognizing it, naming it, is the first structural change. Your financial stability does not begin with a raise. It begins with a system. Build it, use it.